then that's another thing that you can do as well. And that's what we're going to talk about next, is actually getting into a game. Enjoy, Ken. I'll see you in a little bit. One of my next things we're going to talk about is actually how to find a game on Roll20 if you're not a DM, so this is from player's perspective. And the best ways to sort of enhance your odds, I suppose, at getting into a game. So we're gonna go back up here. You're gonna click on games, and you're gonna go down to join a game. Okay. It'll load, and it'll bring us up this tab here, which is the looking for games to join. I'm gonna move our page over here once again, because somewhat annoyingly, I don't need that there anymore either. Thank you very much. Do one more of those, and it should be fairly centered. That's good enough for me. So, find games to join. Right, this brings you to this page here, which probably looks quite intimidating, with reels and reams, of information and forum posts, basically. What you can think these as are basically forum posts, where people are advertising their groups and their games, and they are looking for players. Right. So this is just all of the group listings, and I think it goes by the most recent ones that have come up, or maybe the most popular ones. Yeah, I think these are the new ones that come up first. They pop up here, and you go down a page, you can search for loads of them, because there are probably hundreds, maybe even thousands of games that are being advertised at any one time on Roll20 that are looking for players. Yeah, going down to tab 10 showed us new ones, at tab 11 even, so looks like there are a lot of games. So here's the thing with finding games in Roll20. There are a lot of players that are looking for games, and a lot of players, right? There may be a lot of games here, but there are a lot more players that are looking for games, and just in total, that are searching for games in around this space. So it's actually a fairly competitive sort of place to be. You can strike lucky and find the group for your life forever in this place. I've done it before. I found groups that are fantastic. Found some fantastic players and cast members from Roll20. Or you can be denied over and over and over and over and over and over again. For a lot of people that come into chat, they say, how do I get into a Roll20 game? And I send them to a listing. And I say, here, you can do it. But a lot of people, what they say to me is, yeah, I know where to do it, but I don't know how to maximize my chances of actually getting into a game. Because it is so competitive, it's basically like a job interview almost. It's like applying your resume to something. And, for those of us who have searched for jobs before, it's not always that everyone you get in. So first thing that I would say, and we're gonna talk about all of these terms and what every bit of this fucking interface means in a second. But first thing that I'd say is look and apply to more than just one game. Apply to several. You increase your chances by, tenfold if you apply to 10 games rather than one. Looking for game and D&D sex icon, exactly. Is there a limit to how many PCs a DM could run? I don't know if there is a limit to the amount of players that could join in a Roll20 game. I haven't ever found it. And I've had like 10 to 12 players in a game at one point. So it's possible. I think more likely what you'd run into there is that you'd start getting some like desync and lag the more people that are like on one server. But I don't think so. I'd be willing to pay, yeah. Oh yeah, there is, yeah, we'll talk about the paid stuff in a moment. But yeah, I've been lucky in the past, but it's like yeah, I've got a Roll20 game in which like 200 people are in there, that's the viewer games, but they're not all in at the same time. I imagine if you all go in at the same time, you'd probably experience some like lag issues if you're all using cameras and microphones. But yeah, in terms of like how many people can actually be in there, there is one game. In fact, I'll go to my games at the moment to show you that there's one, I think, with 100 plus 100 people in. There's another one with a couple hundred people. The old Roll20. This is the new Tricks of the Trade one. Let's find Tricks of the Trade. Yeah, Tricks of the Trade. Let's click on it. And we'll just see how many people are inside it. There are 143 players who have joined into this Roll20, and none of them have had to pay a dime, and I haven't had to pay a dime for that either. You can also promote people to GM in this tab. So you can say that you're a games master as well. We'll go into these settings in a bit, but that's just to prove that you can get a lot of people in. They haven't all been at the same time though, so that's a different matter. So let's go, join a game once again and go back to our previous tab. Right, so back here. Let's talk about first of all what these things mean, and then we'll go deeper. So first tab is playing any of these games. You can start choosing games that you would like to play. Maybe you're not just looking for D&D, maybe you're looking for any kind of game. Maybe I'd quite like to play a Call of Cthulhu game. Maybe I'd also like to play a Song of Ice and Fire role-playing game. And say a Numenera game, Cypher system games. Perhaps I would like to play a D&D 5e game as well. You can select as many or as little of these as you want. You can be very specific. You only want to find D&D 5e, you only want to find Call of Cthulhu, only put those in. You can sort by relevance, or you can sort by how quickly they're starting. So if you're looking for something real quick, maybe, you can sort by starting soon. You can also add in keywords. I wouldn't recommend adding in too many keywords here, because if you have a lot of games, they might not all come over. But I mean, I don't know how much people do tag their games, so you might not have much luck doing it anyway. But maybe if you are looking for something which is, for instance, late night, as I suggested there, or like early, or like Wednesdays or something like that, maybe that's a good way of like specifically finding which nights people are playing on. Do some experimentation of that and see if that works out. But if not, leave it blank for now. You can also only find games that welcome new players. For instance, if you are just a newbie and you don't have that much experience and you want to be in a game with people who are going to teach you and help you and be accepting of that fact, because bear in mind, not every group wants to play with new players. I know plenty of groups that they've been playing for years and years and years, and maybe they don't want a new player at the table. You don't necessarily want to apply for a game where you're a newbie, a new player, and you join into a game with some veterans who are expecting you to know what to do immediately. Great way to maximize your chances if you are a beginner is to find a game which welcomes new players. You increase your chances an incredible amount already just by doing that. Because if you do say in your application that you're a beginner, and let's face it, you probably should. Of course, I suppose you could lie about it, but like you need to. There's no real reason to. I don't think. I think it just increases your chances just to click on the welcome new players one. Then that would be good, I think. Okay, you can also show games to mature content, 18+. Maybe you're looking for a really gritty game. Maybe you're not. Right? I mean, that's pretty much it. Maybe you're looking for like a fun afternoon type of game. Don't show games with mature content. But you're looking for a gritty experience. You're looking for a gritty Call of Cthulhu or a Song of Ice and Fire or a Numenera or a D&D 5e game. The next thing that you can click on is this third tab here, which is only find games that are free to play. Now, I won't go into the discussion here as to whether or not you should pay for games and what that really entails. We had a discussion on that last week. But it's your money. If you want to pay for a game, then you can do, however you feel about that. But if you don't, and you want to kind of just filter those out because, you're a free user, you're just looking to join in, then click on only find games that are free to play. However, if you are looking for those games, untick it, and then you can find games that are paid to play as well. So we'll click on that. Gaming groups. Pretty much only D&D Adventurers League is there available at the moment, so wouldn't worry about that too much. Would have imagined that Pathfinder Society might have been in there, but apparently not. So I always lie in my application. I had to go and get them out. So all right, there are advanced search options, but I don't think we need to go into that too much. Let's just quickly look before we do search for our game for looking for group listings. All right, so first of all, we have on the left-hand side the image of the game that they've put up. Hopefully some cool artwork. Usually a good sign when there is artwork there, I'd imagine. Just shows that someone knows what they're doing. If there's blank artwork, maybe they just don't care that much about that. Or I think if you're searching for if you're creating a listing, one of the things that we'll talk about later is how to maximize your chances of getting people to apply for your game. Having cool artwork and the little thingy there is a good way to do that. The GM, you can see who the games master is. So we see Christy C is the GM. She's a free user. She's been a member since, the 18th of February 2017. She's played 334 hours. Okay, you can also see that Noah has played 38 hours, and this guy, Neville, has 0 hours played. He hasn't played anything yet. So you can see here, you can judge maybe the experience of their Roll20. Maybe it shows the experience of the player as well. Not necessarily though, because for instance, Philip, who's a pro user, he may have played loads on a different account. He may have played 20 years of Dungeons and Dragons at his home, but now he's just using Roll20, right? So it doesn't mean too much, but you know, something you look at. You can also right-click that in a new tab, or just click on it, and it takes you to their actual page with their bio, info, what they enjoy playing, and how much they've played, and you can send them private messages, give them gifts and stuff like that. So that's always nice. It also saves this as well when you go on that, so don't worry about clicking off and losing all this information, because the Find Games to Join stuff stays saved, probably cookie based on that stuff. Okay, so you can see about who the GM is. You have a name of the game and a description of the game as well, which is really useful. Another way to maximize your chance at playing and getting into this game is knowing something about the game, and most importantly, applying to the right kind of game, the kind of game that you will enjoy. That's the key to success is, oops, let me go back here. The key to success is finding a game which you're going to enjoy for a long time. You don't really just want any old game, in my opinion. Like, maybe you do, maybe you're just happy to play literally anything. But for me, you want to be playing with a group that you can play with for a long time and something that you're going to really enjoy. That's what success feels like. So, name and descriptions, Noirlandia. What is Noirlandia? We'll figure out the way our city ticks and what its secrets are. Maybe it's constantly blanketed in white ash, maybe it's built. So, it seems like there's some questions on that, maybe there's some world building going on. For instance, if we go down to this one, Curse of Strahd, we see the image of Curse of Strahd, and we learn a bit more about that from here as well. You can click more, we'll go back onto our Noirlandia, we'll click read more, where we went a second ago. You can see all the information on it here. We'll come back to talk about all of these terms in a second, but for now, here's all the information on the game that you can take a look at as well. All right. Oops. I didn't mean to search. Let me go back to just games, join a game. Do you not let me find a game, Roll20? What are you doing, buddy? Search did not return any results. What have I done? Maybe we just refresh this. It did a weird thing. I didn't have any search terms in. It was like, you don't have any games. Okay, let's refresh this bad boy. Roll20? Drunk boy? What's going on? Join a game. Your search did not return any results. Alright, let's just look for D&D games. Maybe I'm being dumb and you have to search for something. I thought it'd just show you pretty much anything there. Okay, let's just choose D&D 5e. Find games. You are browsing listings filtered. Okay, show me all listings instead. Just show me everything. I broke Roll20. Am I banned? Don't understand. Everything else is working. What about just looking for game? That work? Okay, weird. Alright, we'll cut that in post. I just got rid of... Now, that didn't seem to work. For some reason. Like, refreshing didn't work. Trying a new search didn't work. I just took out the first few lines of the website and it worked. I don't know. I've never seen that before. But I don't usually use this too much. Anyway. Going back to where we were before, I suppose. Name and description is here. Then this is the meta knowledge. Time for some metagaming. Removes encounter from Roll20 for life. Yeah, I did get in. There was a time where I was a little bit naughty. But I'll tell you guys about that some other time. Right, I can't do that right now. Let me get back here. Advanced settings and click the dates. I don't know what that was. Anyway, so back here, back to the meta knowledge. All of these seem to have tags in them. Role-playing game. Pretty obvious, I guess. And then welcomes new players. This is the big one. This is the big purple button that you're looking for if you're a new player. And you want to see if they have welcome new players on there. Luckily, these ones do. Some of these, however, will not have welcome new players on them. Looks like a lot of them do, actually. That's pretty good, I suppose. They're the new ones. Perhaps if you're looking for more specific ones, they won't have welcomes new players, but I think that's something worth looking for. That's there. Looks like a lot of them do. Tells you what game system they're running, playing Dungeon World. Current players, 1 current players, that means that there's a games master in there. That pretty much means 0 current players, 1 games master. And then it says 4 open slots. So there are 4 people that Daniel is looking to play in his game of Dungeon World. It tells you when the game is as well. Next Wednesday, August 23rd at 5 p.m. GMT plus 1, which is 5 p.m. British Standard Time that we're in at the moment. 1 week from now. You can select, it's a one-time game, a one-shot, and it's not a recurring game. And it says voice only as well. It means that you will need a microphone to play it. Yes, so most important process is how to break the game. Go back here. So that is information which is pretty important. I'd say maybe that's some of the first stuff you could look at is just like, when do I play? Does that fit my schedule? Is it a one-shot? Is it campaign? What am I looking for? Do I have to have a webcam? Do I have to have a microphone? Usually you have to have at very least a microphone, right? So, and what game they're playing. So this one has played weekly. So this is a weekly game that you're looking for. Role-playing game, welcomes new players, D&D 5e. Got 5 open slots at the moment. And it's played on Friday at 7 p.m. in my time. I can think, oh yeah, that works for me. This one here, for instance, the beginner's welcome game, there's video and voice. So you need to make sure that you have a webcam to be able to play in that. So make sure that you don't apply to ones that you don't have a webcam for instance. Because if you say I don't have a webcam, then you've probably cut yourself out from the application, right? They're like, well, you don't have a webcam, that doesn't fit the requirements. It's like applying for a job where you're a driver, but you don't have a car. Like, you may be a great driver, but you don't have a car. So, I don't think that's really a job anyway. But anyway, pay to play, this is the red tab. Red, warning, 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 is the pay to play tab. Again, you can filter these out if you want, but if you want to look at them, you can do here, but it does note that you have to pay the Games Master. And interestingly enough, if we click on this one, it has a disclaimer which is that this game will require payment to participate. Roll20 is not responsible for any payment transactions and cannot enforce any private arrangements. For more information, please see the Roll20 Code of Conduct. Basically, you have to pay this guy $5 per session via PayPal. That doesn't seem unreasonable, to be honest. Some of them, we did see a guy who was like, $20 for an hour. Was like one guy was like charging $10 an hour or something like that the other week. But basically what this is, it means that Roll20 aren't responsible. You're entering into an agreement with someone that maybe you don't know. Buyer beware. Like, it doesn't seem to me about, like, how easy would you be able to get your money back? Because Roll20 doesn't enforce anything, you can't help with them. You'd probably have to go through PayPal. PayPal do rescind transactions. But, you know, beware that's a hassle, and it's like an unknown factor, like paying someone that you don't know for something that you may not get, or may not, you know, I mean, I doubt there's much fraud going on via Roll20, right? I doubt there's many people applying and they're like, $500 for my game, and then you play it and then they don't turn up. Like, I doubt many of these are scams. But just to know, in case, you know, things do turn downhill with money, as you know, money makes people do weird things, that Roll20 won't be helping you out there. So you're entering into an agreement with someone which is a private arrangement and agreement. And I would suggest, if you are going to do that, that you do write up a quick contract, or even just have something in writing. So you can have like a written agreement, which can be useful when you're dealing with stuff like this. Because trust me, as someone who owns content which isn't physical, and is often like IP based, or like the name of something, for instance, or you own something like a file or something like that. Like, just having written confirmation that the person agrees that they're going to do something, or that it belongs to you, for instance, is really useful when you go to like PayPal to try and get money back from someone, or when you go to YouTube to try and copyright claim something that's yours, right? Really useful. Just just as a note. I'm sure this is probably a small percentage of people like sign a contract, have it in writing, make sure there's some kind of reputable person, especially if it's more than $5 a month, right? You know, some of these sessions might be $20 a session or $10 an hour. You can rack up money quite quickly that way, and you don't want to get burnt. So, anyway, brief note aside, let's say we want to apply. I'm going to go through and do this to the traveling circus. This game is definitely now good to be Tuesdays. The date and time is listed correct. Okay. So this is Ayana. We want to play in Ayana's game. I think that's how you say her name. Or the Traveling Circus. It's got 3 open slots. The next game is Tuesday, 5th of September at 4 p.m. I'm like, great, that works perfectly. And it's only text. That's great because I don't have a webcam and I don't have a microphone and I just want to play in a text-based game. That sounds like fun to me. Let's say that's me, right? Let's go and read more about Iana's game. So, we're taking this page of a nice little circus tent before us. She's playing D&D 5e. We know the date of it, 2 weeks from now. Needs 4 players. Type of game is a role-playing game. Frequency, played weekly. It's perfect for my timetable. It's only on text. Great. I love text-based role-playing games. My language is English. Great. I mean, I think almost all of these are probably English, but just worth checking, I guess. New players are welcome. Yay. Mature content? No. Pay to play? No. All right. So here's the information on the game that we were talking about before. That you can take a look at. It's going to be an open world 5e campaign that has min-max component. Backdrop is a circus. Okay. It has a min-max component. I wonder what that means. Let me apply that. There we go. There you guys. Back this over just a little bit. Allowable races and classes. Any race on a PHP, Anatacana, or Volos is auto-approved. Homebrew classes need to be submitted. We'll talk about homebrew classes later on, my friends. Don't you worry. Same applies to classes. However, you need to convince me of why your class would be at a circus if it isn't already obvious. I have no idea why a paladin would join a circus, but maybe you do. I'm open to persuasion. Alrighty, Anna. I'll be sure to roll that persuade roll when I want to bring my paladin to a circus. Okay, stats. So, hey Billy, how's it going? Stats will be a little weird. Everyone will pick 1 stat to a max of 20 and 1 to a min at 2. Oh, this is the min-max component, okay. Your max stat will directly relate to what your show at the circus is, e.g. a dex 20 might be a tightrope walker. Your min stat will relate to how you ended up at a circus instead of in a more respectable and mainstream occupation. Charisma leads you to flunk every job interview. Full disclosure, I got the min-max idea from a non-circus related campaign I was almost in, run by a Roll20 basic roller. User basic roller who deleted his account mysteriously before the game began. Don't know why you need to disclose that, but alright, thank you Ayana, I appreciate the hint. How's it going, Godan? Paladin Timora, like it. That is odd. Okay, so a couple of things. As I mentioned before, you want to be looking for the right game for you. That's one of the best ways to maximize your chances at not only getting accepted, but getting accepted to the right Roll20 game. Because there are a lot of these out there that you might read that might fit your timetable, right? They might fit your timetable, but they might not be actually enjoyable long-term or whatever term that you want to play them on, right? So it's a bit like when you're going to date someone, right? You're thinking about dating someone, and you think, wow, I like how this person looks, but I hate their personality. Or I don't think that it's really what I'm looking for at the moment. Maybe that's more reasonable. I'm looking for something long term, or I'm looking for something short term, or I'm not looking for something long distance. You know, all of these factors that come into play. Like, yeah, you might be able to see each other and not be long distance, or like you might be able to, like, your timetables really work out. Wow, isn't that a great factor to date someone? But like, they're fucking crazy, you know? Her dad's a convicted murderer named Denny, who turned into a crackhead addict, you know? You gotta be careful. You gotta be careful. That is a problem. Text only is a bit cringe, yeah. Well, yeah. Min stat int 2, a dolphin is literally smarter than you. But let's go. I like this analogy. I figured of dating someone. Some of the things, like, maybe you've got, like, I don't know, maybe you've got, like, a certain list of things in your head. Maybe you don't list them out. But let's say, like, there are 10 things that you look for in a person you're going to date. They've got, like, 6 of them. That's most of the things that you're looking for. But you've got those other 4 that are kind of important. A game like this, for instance, might have 6 of those things, or maybe less. Like, great, it works for my timetable. I want text only. It's the great amount of players. Seems like a great GM. You know, it's in English. I don't have to pay for it. You know, my like style of game. But then you look at the stuff here and you're like, wow, I don't necessarily want to play with someone a group which has 20 stat in one thing and 2 in another. Like, that sounds kind of crazy. I also have to be in a circus. It seems kind of weird. A lot of this stuff is a little bit odd, disclosing... Just some of this stuff seems like... It's a couple of red flags for me. A couple of red flags are going up with Iana. I don't think we can date her, chat. So, collectively, us. And of course, you know, there is another problem in that as well. So, I mean, let's read on for a little bit more. But as you're reading through these things, watch for the red flags. And if any red flags come up, you don't want to be stuck in a miserable game. Because I would argue that being in a bad game can be more miserable, trust me, than being in a game, and not being in a game at all. So sometimes you got to wait for the right one, you know, to come along. 2 con. Charisma 2, world's ugliest person. Good lord. So let's read on a little bit more. Okay, story. Now this is a very important one. What kind of story do you want to play in? For me, when I'm joining a game, I want to play like a narrative-focused game. I don't want to worry too much about the stats, and I just want to basically have fun, you know. This already has maybe raised a red flag because she said it has a min-max element. Maybe not the kind of player that I would necessarily enjoy and connect with immediately. Story. There isn't necessarily going to be a set overarching plot. It is more just going to follow the circus's travels along the continent of Sochain homebrew. You'll have a few in-game days at each stop, and each stop will offer unique exploration and NPC side quest opportunities for you to choose from. I also anticipate that some players' characters might have personal quests they want to incorporate. Example, the bard that wants to find the last person who knows a specific tale or something. And am planning to incorporate some of that in. Time will be kept track of. It's good, isn't it? It's always good when time is kept track of. Thank God for clocks. You know, fuck me. If time wasn't kept track of, I would lose track of time. So sorry. I'm very sarcastic. So you may not have time to do all the quests at each location before it's time to roll out again. You'll occasionally have work-related tasks to do, like drumming up business for the circus or helping other NPC performers of things. Right. So does that sound like your kind of game? If it does, tick. If it doesn't, cross. You know. And if it's a cross, then I'd argue you just go find another game, right? And not necessarily, like, some of these might be diamonds in the rough, you know? Let's go back to the dating analogy. Like, maybe there's 8 out of those 10 things. But you're like, you know what? That's 8 out of 10 of those things. Let's give that a go, you know? And maybe that's fun. But if there are a lot of these red flags that are coming up and you're like, that's like a 4 things out of 10 of my prerequisites, then go find another one. Okay, current circus NPCs. We already have a ringmaster, ticket taker, fortune teller, sword swallower, and 3 clowns. Please do not duplicate these acts when making your character. Okay, so you can't be a ticket taker, a ringmaster, a fortune teller, a sword swallower, or a clown. So you've got to think of something else for that. So it's already something else you've got to think about for your character, and also justify why you're a paladin who's none of those things. Okay. Alright, Ayana wants to... Is that her name? I don't remember. Wants to... Yeah, Ayana. Wants to tell her a bit about her. Now, this is important as well. Dungeons & Dragons is really, like, socially... it's like a social game, right? We basically have to like people. You basically have to get along with people. All of the people that I play D&D with, I play with because they're friends, basically. Or we play with them when they become friends. If you can't get along with someone, then it becomes very difficult to play Dungeons & Dragons. So I think it's a good idea to learn about the people that you'll be playing with, and at very least the games master as well, taking into account things like experience, their like attitudes towards certain things, because I know a lot of people that have very different attitudes on how they want to play their games as to mine, and whilst that's fine, that means that maybe necessarily we're not the most compatible players to play with one another. Sword swallow, ticket swallow as you can. So let's go back and read some of you. I want to know a bit about me. I'm 21 years old, for all players to be 16 or older. I will not tolerate any sort of out-of-character bigotry, including, but not limited to, sexism, racism, homophobia, not even as jokes. Any of that in character is subject... I said that kind of like that was a joke, but I mean, like, that's pretty reasonable. Any of that in character is subject to my and the other player's discretion. If it makes anyone uncomfortable, it's out. I know we all love to roll to seduce, and I'm fine with that, but I want to keep this game mostly PG-13, alright? Some cursing's okay, no rape jokes, or rape. I've been playing RPGs for 3-ish years now. I've been playing 5e and Roll20 for about 3 months, but I make up the short time in quantity. I'm in a lot of 5e groups now, but a lot of them are ending or conflicting with our upcoming college schedule. This will be my 3rd 5e campaign DMing, my 5th campaign as GM across other games. Also, you can see I'm currently a Plus member, so we have dynamic lighting, but that changes a month to month because I'm a poor college student. I am not an artist, so most backdrops will be lovingly assembled from Roll20 assets. As a DM, I will kill you, if it comes to it. Long walks along the beach, you know, college student life, and I will murder you. She's got all 3. I saw the documentary. She's part of the game. She's become the game, man. Okay, right. It's PG-13, how many... Yeah, I think she said... Did she say no cursing? Some cursing's okay, but PG-13 cusp. I think in every Disney movie they're allowed to say 1 swear word. I think that's a thing. In PG-13, I think they're allowed to say 1 swear word. I don't think they often do, but... Anyway. As a DM, I will kill you if it comes to it, but I won't try to kill you. So if you do something stupid, I'm not going to go easy on you, but I'm also not going to throw a dragon at you at level 1, unless I level it down appropriately. I won't rule it out. I try to have a healthy mix of combat, roleplay, and exploration, but I'm not great at creating puzzles, so while I might throw a few at you, don't expect them in every session. I usually do story-based leveling up, so when you accomplish a certain amount of quests you will level, because math is the worst. Tick. And only leveling by monsters doesn't seem fair to me because it minimises the value of exploring and role-playing. Tick. I'd like everyone to be in a Discord server so we can be in contact, but I'm not going to make anyone use voice chat, and we'll use Roll20 chat for actual sessions. Alright. So, then what you do... Literally she'll dox you and find you IRL and kill you. Yes, yes. Everyone gets 1 F-bomb. Fuck a duck. You could say mother ducker, yeah. You could say that. But no jokes, guys. Jokes aren't funny. Right, let's go back to what you were saying there. They're allowed 1 F-bomb, but never in a sexual context. Nice. Nice. Good on you, Disney. So then what you do is you think, alright, is this a game for me? Let's say that it is. Let's say that all of these things are like, that's pretty good. Maybe there's a couple of things that you're not so happy with. Maybe you're not like so into, but you'll be willing to, you know, make some compromises. Relationship. See what I did there? Touching tips. And then we go down. The next thing we do, which is very important, the next thing we do is we go to the other applications. So, the great thing about these listings is that you can see what everyone else has applied for and said. It's, again, basically a forum post. You can see that this guy has said, I do this, I'm about this is what I like. You can see this girl said, blah, 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 this is the kind of character I want to play. Right. So, it's interesting to read these first of all. You can see how many people have, like, replied, I think, as comments, and how many... views it's had. So this is her listing discussions of applications and questions. So applications go in the comments here. Questions that you have for Rihanna go there. Let's first click on applications and see what other people have applied for. Just a tip. No worries, Sin. I do my best. Okay, so I did not expect this many people to be so interested in my game. I'm honoured. I now have over 30 applicants and only 3 spots available. Because of this, I'm going to end the application period a bit early. Last day to submit an application is Wednesday's. Oh my god, it's almost Wednesday 16th, guys. We're running out of time. This way, there's still about a day and a half over on the finish any applications they may have already started. Alright, so questions that you need to answer in your application. One of the most important. Still in free. I guess she's waiting for the applications to come in tomorrow, and then she decides on who's going to be. So as I mentioned before, it may have seemed that she didn't have any players. There are 3 open slots. They're free. That's free. Open slots in a game. However, it can be incredibly competitive, right? It started a week ago, and she's had 30 applications, right? And I would argue that this game probably doesn't receive as many applications as most, just because it's text only. And maybe the stat thing has thrown off a couple of people. Like, it would have thrown me off, right? If I was looking for a text game, I probably wouldn't have been into that. So, whereas games maybe like Lost Mines of Fandelver or Curse of Strahd Out of the Abyss are going to get a lot of applications to them in comparison, I'd imagine. So here's the thing that you find, and Retnash is right. GMs have the ability, and we'll get into this in our third phase in a minute, to be incredibly picky about everything that they want in a player. I have run applications on Roll20 where over 100 people have applied, and I was looking for 3 people. Granted, that may have been because of the channel, and a lot of people were looking to play on Twitch and stuff like that, but I can set, as a games master, everything that I want in a person, and I can choose exactly what I want from them. And I can turn anyone down that I want, and I have my choice of pick. And I say, I'd reckon 30 is probably on the lower side of the scale compared to some games. So your chances are pretty slim, right? It's like a job application. That's what I mean. Like, when you're going for any job, there are probably, like 50 people who have sent in their resume, right? This is like sending in your resume, and maybe you get to an interview, right? Like, and some of these games do have interviews as well. I've run games on Roll20 where I wanted a call with the person as well. Again, that was mostly because I stream on Twitch and I was looking for someone who had a decent camera and microphone, and I wanted to make sure they did that. But like, that's sometimes a part of these processes. So you got to be prepared to be on your A game for this, because if you write, "Hi, my name's Will. I like D&D. I'm free at this time. Maybe I'll play a paladin," then you're not going to get in, because there are these 30 other guys here who have put in all of this information, and they're trying to sell themselves as best they can, and that is exactly what you have to do to get into these games. Look at this guy. He's written a fucking ton. Stuart, you madman. He's written so much in. So we have to read what she wants. Another great way to maximize your chances is to do everything that they tell you to do. When I have done applications before, if when I've run games before, if the applicants do not put all of the information that I've required from them, I do not read it. And it's the same on when I've done applications for being a writer, and I've run applications for, do you want to be a cast member? All of these things, like, you just have to fill out the information. It's like a job resume, like I keep saying. Okay, let me read this real quick. That's occasionally the website people will ask me a question I need to get to quickly. That's how we hire too. Yeah, I mean, it's just really, really simple. So be cautious of someone that posts too much. Also, you mean in terms of players or in terms of GMs? All right, so let's see what she says. Your name and or online handle. Are you above 16? Are you under 18? Are you capable of using Discord for text chat? Your biggest weakness as a player. I, for one, tend to metagame. You don't tell me, Ayana. Your 5e and other RPG experience. Your favorite part of RPGs. Your least favorite part. Anything else I think you should know about you as a personal player? Optional. Yeah, no, it says optional. This is fucking not optional. You put it down, all right? The following questions pertain to your character: race, class, max stat, min stat, job of the circus, a bit about your personality, backstory, as much as you want, but please at least include an explanation of your max stat and min stat, class if necessary, and how you ended up at the circus. Final note. Alright, yeah, that's just basically about how she's going to get applications in. So, like this is a pretty competitive marketplace that we're looking for in a game, right? And maybe at this point, it's worth us, if we're going to apply for this, looking for another game which has more time to get our application in. You've got all the time in the world. There are a million games out there. Ayana is not the only person running games. So at this point, and we're just going to do this one as an example. But at this point, what I say is you've got a day, 30 people have already applied. Your chances are higher when you're one of the first people to get in there. So look for games that don't have so many applications in, but sometimes you don't have a choice. Sometimes you just got to go for it and try and nail an application. So, and all of this, like, if you really want to get into a game, you can have like a Google document filled out with the kinds of questions that are often asked of you. And I see a lot of players have applied to several games, and they'll have the same information, right? Like, they're going to try and play the same character because they want to play that character. They have all the information out, which is generally asked. All of this information here, well, most of it information here, is pretty commonly asked. So what you can do is basically build up your online resume for Roll20, because as I mentioned, if we apply to 10, then we increase our chances by 10, basically. If we only apply to 1, then we're most likely going to get turned down and not get 1. But, if we have many fingers and many pies, we're going to do a lot better that way. So, if I went through all of this and got into the game and the DM didn't have anything prepared or just railroaded the storyline, I would be so disappointed. So here's the thing again. Roll20 is a bit of a shot in the dark sometimes. You can get lucky, or you can get super unlucky, and you can have a pretty negative experience. It's... Sometimes you can find exactly what you're looking for straight away, and sometimes you go through this process and you end up in a shitty game. And as much as you can control that, because you apply to the games that you want and only apply to ones that you think are going to interest you, ultimately there's that external factor of the other players. It's not like you can pick and choose everyone who's going to be in the game. And sometimes you end up with a problem player. Sometimes you end up with a group of people that you just don't connect with. Or maybe just when you meet people, you don't get along with them. Because, that's just something that humans do. Like, sometimes you just meet people and you realize that you don't really get along with them for whatever reason. For instance, when you meet the French. Keep that in mind. But if you don't try, you don't get it, right? Let me go back. Alright, so what we would do here is we would fill out all of our information. Let's see what an example of our competitors are. So, Chris, he's 24. That's his Discord handle. Maybe I shouldn't show that. I don't know. Too late now. No one tell Twitch. Should be able to. Weakness, first time using Roll20. Been doing D&D 2E and 5E over... Actually, it's probably fine because he shared it himself. Least favorite, can't think of any at the time. Okay. This is an example of a bad application. Okay. Some key things that you want to do in your application is not only fill out properly, you want to be writing like grammatically sound English, right? Because appearances are everything. And it's just the exact same as on a resume. If I send in a resume and I've got, I don't dot the I's, cross my T's, have capitals and correct spelling, then I look worse I don't look like professional, or, it can make you look like you're not as interested in the game. And what the GM is looking for is someone that's interested in the game and, like, proficient. And it is text-based, remember. Like, this game in particular is text-based, so you will be looking for that certainly I would be looking for that as a games master. The other thing which is bad about this application is she asked a bunch of questions, but he has just answered them. He hasn't put the question to which he's relating to, which is, like, needed, basically, because what she has to do is scroll up, and particularly if you're further down the line, and remember what question that was being asked. So, the personality traits and the backstory, the kind of the length of the backstory, I'd say is pretty good. The length of the backstory is pretty good. What you will notice is some people write out these gigantic like 12-page essays, and honestly, that's a turn off as well for a GM, because because you are looking at 50 applications straight up. You don't read them. Like, you may read a paragraph or two, but if it's too long, you just don't read it because you don't have time. And that's often the case. When I read emails that are just like super long, I'm like, right, let's try and figure out what some of the questions are and just answer loads. So, so she replied there. This one is a better one. Okay, this one looks like a good application. Matthew puts all the questions, he answers them. He looks like he's got good English. He's got an idea for the character. He's wrote a pretty good, length backstory in there. It's paragraphed. It's nicely done. Probably this guy has applied to plenty in the past. Maybe Chris hasn't. So you can see there are a lot of these going, right? There are a lot of these fucking competitions, and you want to be doing something similar to these guys, but you want to have some kind of unique selling point to what you can do as well. If you cannot think of anything, then why play for the game? Do they even know what they're playing to? That's the exact thing. What Chris has done, unfortunately for him, Chris has, in my opinion, it automatically counted himself out. Because he hasn't answered some of the questions. Least favourite, can't think of any. You know. Should be able to. Should be able to. Like, what I need to know as a Games Master. As a Games Master, you're an event organizer. Especially on Roll20. What you're doing is just organizing events, and you're like hiring people who can come to the events and act at the event, for instance. As an analogy. And if someone says, I can probably do that, then that is not what you want. It's like, alright, no. Chris can't do it. He's a flake. He's not going to turn up to my games. You know? He probably can do it. Should be able to. Yes. The answer is yes, 100%. You know? Are you about seeing? I never planned far ahead, yeah. Thursday worked perfect for me either way. You know, that's one of the most important questions. Like, yes, just I can fucking make it to your game. Like, you count yourself out. It's like, you're applying for a job. Again, you know, I'm applying for a job. The job is on Thursday. Well, I should be able to do that. Compared to the guy who goes, yes, I can do Thursdays no matter what. I will be there on a Thursday. That inspires that kind of confidence in that person that they know what they're doing with their life and they're actually going to turn up. So, there we go. Alright, let's go further down. Let's have a little more scroll. In fact, we're going to go back to questions real quick. That's the applications. We've taken a look at the competition. We know the kind of things that we need to fill out for that. We're going to look at our questions. Alright. If you have any questions, you can drop them here. I check this fairly regularly. So, Norris, would a Neko character be acceptable home race? I had an idea for a Neko acrobat. Oh my god. Let's go. I know what the Neko is, based on Purge the Wiki. It was a like total weeb race. Is that what's going on? I'd love to be on actually be able to make it. Yeah, so dear lord. But she said yes. There's currently a pre-race called the Backseat that basically count humanoids. Otherwise, you'd send me all the stats and info if you need a race, I can prove it. Okay. People ask questions here. It's a good place, I suppose, if you do have a question about your character to ask it before. But don't ask stupid shit. This guy, Ian. Ian with the savagery. Ian comes in 6 days ago. A character with 2 intelligence is as smart as a domesticated animal and incapable of speech. The person playing a character with 2 intelligence is as smart as a horse or a dog. A character with 2 constitution is sickly and subject to any and all illness. A character with 2 dexterity is less dexterous than a gelatinous cube, likely wheelchair bound. Basically, every player character will have a disability in something, and I guess my question is, why? Is role-playing people with disabilities funny? No disrespect. I had a lot of interest in this game until I read that bit. Good luck with your game. Fucking savagery of Ian. Oh, man. I both love and hate Ian. Man, this guy is fucking savage. He does not give a single flying fuck. The end. No disrespect. I had a lot of interest in this game until I read that bit. Good luck with your game. It's like, brother, you are fucking pissed. I mean, yeah, like there is a way. There is a way of giving criticism to people which doesn't make you sound like an utter cunt, isn't it? Ian has not yet unlocked that potential. I believe that he may have it in him deep within him. Oh man, he is. But you know when you find people, and I know this quite well, being on the internet as I am, and being familiar with YouTube comments, is that some people get so angry about something, and you're like, wow, how are you so angry with me? Like, but I understand where he's going from. Like, I want to see what she said, to be honest, because this is some prime internet banter right now. This is some, like, you know when you see a Facebook argument going on in comments and you're like, oh, spill that tea, girl. Ayana goes, yes, I am aware of all of this. And I'm not sure what about my description made it seem like I was doing this for laughs. I guess my question is, why not have every player character be disabled? Okay, interesting. Disabled people exist in the real world, correct. Why should they not exist in a magical world as well? Correct. And why does the fact that they exist immediately imply they exist as a joke? Interesting. If anything, the goal of this campaign is to create a found family of people that for one reason or another, yes, because of disabilities, I like that, disability, she's dissing Ian, did not fit in or succeed in a world that is not catered to them. So they found a world that did cater to them. And they all managed to still be talented and competent. Hell, after a while, they were veritable adventurers. Why can't characters with disability be adventurers? Why can't they be a wheelchair-bound wizard or a bard of an autoimmune disease? Why did you list these things off like they are ridiculous and that I must think it's funny to include disabilities in my RPG? Get them, girl! These are legitimate questions. I did not intend for my description to make it sound like this was going to be a jokey campaign. I'm sure based on your tone that you have no interest in this game, and I'm sorry if I came across as ableist or something like that, but that was not my intention at all. If you'd like to send me a private message about specific concerns about things, I could change to make this seem like less of a joke on disabled people. Free or free. Get him, girl! Man, that is good. That's a pretty fire response if you ask me. My goodness. Oh man, just slam dunked him, dropped him the mic and left him right a troll face. Internet warriors. I'm now intrigued. I just assumed from a game description that she was actually unaware of what 2 actually meant. I kind of want to play in the game now, right? I'm super up for a straight up disabled party. Like, yeah, I don't disagree with the fact that if, Roll20 drama, this shit is lit, I love this. That if disabled characters exist in real life, that they should exist in fantasy games as well, and why can't they be heroes as well? I understand. And I don't think she was making a joke of it, to be fair. Like, I think that was a little bit unfair of Ian to say, why are you trying to make a joke of disabled people? It seemed like cheap SJ Warrior shots from Ian, which were bang, bang, shot down by Ayana. Let's see if this goes on. Neil? Ian? Ian, do you reply? No, Ian doesn't respond, but there are more people talking about it. Let's get into this conversation. There's nothing wrong with playing a disabled character as soon as you can RP it. There you go. Man, getting lit. Goody. But yes, man. Shut down, bro. Shut down. But anyway, as I was mentioning, it's a good idea not to be a fuckhead, both in general and also in the Roll20 questions points. So if you do have genuine, legitimate questions, for instance, this person down here, I am literally brand new, spanking new to D&D and tabletops in general. I don't know the rules, law, or even where to begin if I'm being frank. I've been agonizing over the application, specifically the character portion, for 2 days. I'm asking... is twofold. Is this the right place for me to start? And what tips do you have for a fledgling tabletopper at the ripe old age of 28? So that's a genuinely good question, right? Like, he wants to know whether or not he should apply at all, because otherwise he's going to waste his time. And she basically says no. But here are some other ways to find it. Oh yeah, this guy's asking if he could be a spectator. And... you say you should ask about it. Like, genuine, legitimate questions, ask them if you're just trying to be a fuckhead, then, you know, what's the point? Ian's still recovering in the burn ward. Ian sounds like a bit of a country, doesn't he? Okay, one other thing that I would mention is when you're applying, as you can see here, everyone who applies, you can click on their bio and info, and you can learn about them. You can learn their bio, you can learn what games they're into and the like. For instance, if you want to learn about Narena as a player, then the GM can do that. Which means that when you apply, you are going to be asked... you're going to be investigated a little bit. They're going to look at it. Yeah, the link to the Roll20 ads, why not? If you guys want to apply to Yana's game, then feel free. You can literally stalk them, yeah. I mean, you can find out a little bit of information about them, which means that we need to fill out our own profiles as an applicant, rather. Alright, so, you can see that here's my profile. You can see what achievements I've unlocked, which are basically how many people you played with, how many games, how many dice you've rolled. 10,000 rolls, fuck me. Remember since when, if you're a plus or a pro user, GM of how many games, how many hours played, how many forum posts you've made, etc. You can see your bio as well. We're going to change lists as an example as well. Actively seeking for group. Best thing for you to do is, if you're applying for a D&D game, put it in here that you are actively seeking a group for D&D 5e. Then when they go onto your profile, I can see that, yes, I genuinely are interested in these things. You can... Yeah, it's 3593 hours, but there's a second account which I use as well, which is 2,000 hours I changed to before this, so before I started doing Twitchy stuff. So, yeah, I'm pretty no life. Also see who you've recently played with. Those are, of course, my players I was just playing with earlier. Actively seeking group for, of course, and the player directory. People won't be able to search your name. You can opt out of this. I'd say don't opt out because people want to be able to see your profile. But in your bio here, what you want to do is fill out stuff about you that makes you an interesting person and makes you a person that people want to play games with. People don't want to play games with dickheads. People just want to know about, like, the kind of games that you're into. You know, you don't need to include your social security number and, like, your subscription to Nuts Magazine or Will's Live Jasmine stream, but you should include something like your experiences with games, the kind of game that you're looking for, your age, your interest in games, that kind of stuff. Just general information about you, and again, good English, paragraph it. You can even use markdown formatting, so that means you can italics and bold things, like so. And you can find out how to do markdown if that will save. Please. Yeah, so you can say Will from Ringana Roleplay, or you can bolden things. You can even hyperlink things. So I could say D&D Twitch stream. For instance, if you've got a stream or a YouTube channel, if you've got a link to your bio and info on maybe a Google document that you'd like to share with people, then you can do. Is that not markdown? I could have sworn that was markdown. Or is that the other way around? I don't know. There's one way of doing that. I'm pretty sure that's markdown. But anyway, fuck me. You can just Google how to do markdown because I've forgotten apparently. It's been so long since I've actually bothered updating. Well, no. Not true. Anyway, but yeah, you can do all sorts of things here. Just put some information about yourself, sound interesting, and don't be Ian, okay? Be better than Ian, guys. Like that, but different. Exactly. Maybe it's the other way around. I don't know. Let me check my... Yeah, I actually want to know now. Because I've forgotten how to do it. And it was a thing I used to know how to do. How do we edit this? Let's see. No, that is marked down. Okay, maybe I just worked on Twitch. Anyway, going back to this thing here. We've filled out our bio. Again, put a profile picture, maybe of your face, maybe of a character that you play. Oh, cheats. Cheats tip. Cheats tip. If you have 0 hours played, but you'd like to look a little bit more experienced, you can open a Roll20 game and just that you've made yourself and just leave it running, and those hours will count. So you're like, oh wow, he doesn't have 0 hours played. He's got 20 hours played. Like, yeah, I just fucking left that bad boy on overnight. So you can always do that. Maybe that increases your chances. Probably doesn't, but you never know. Cheat sheets. Hacks, mad hacks. That was the right syntax, yeah. So, only a third of my hours. They say, pretty no life. How many hours have I streamed? On this bot as well, which is not all of it. 3,000 hours. No big deal. No big deal. This probably is more like 3593. Because Moldark was not always Moldark for about 4 to 6 months. Anyway, so that's our applications. Those are our questions that we have there. And that's the best way. And again, so we've done that one. Maybe we've done our application to the Traveling Circus. We've filled it out. It's all good English. We've been good. We've filled out our profile. We've done everything that can maximize our chances possibly. We've hacking comments. I opened a game for myself and made a character just to get the hang of the system. It's a good idea. It's a good idea. Another thing to do is sort of familiarize yourself with Roll20 in general. Perhaps going back to the previous section that I was doing for the past an hour before this, which was basically on how to use Roll20. It is much better to have a basic understanding of Roll20. That is something that you can put in your profile and say that I have a basic understanding of Roll20. I don't know everything to do with it, but as a player, it's pretty much all that you need. Another thing worth noting, just as general tips go as well, is to be honest about yourself. Just be yourself. I don't mean be totally transparent. Yeah, inside I have a heart of darkness, and yes, I did murder my cat when I was free. But no, more the sort of stuff where it's I am a beginner. I am new. I have a basic understanding of Roll20, and be honest in what you look for as well, and be honest about what you're looking for in games. So if they ask you what type of game do you want, then be honest with the kind of game that you are interested in. And of course, again, apply to games that seem to be about the type of game that you want as well. So we'll click on another one who actually has 3 current players, and I wonder if we can go find their applications as well. If you are a D&D sex icon, it does somewhat increase your chances. I feel like murdering my cat is one of the reasons I roleplay the way I do. Why wouldn't I mention it? That's a very good point. So we'll go look at... they're looking for 6 players in this one. They've got 3, so maybe we can find some of the applications here. So in this one, you can see that you have to post a new topic to apply. So you click on post new topic and fill out the information there. Again, that's in markdown format, so you can link there. So Sleepy Bear joined in. Also... deleted account and Neville joined in. Alright, so see what Neville said in his application. Oh wait, Neville's the DM. Okay, my mistake. Okay, wait, let's go forwards to a terrible application. What I gotta do. Is that really how you get into this game? I'm looking for some people to run a one-shot adventure tonight. I guess it's just because it's a one-shot. They're pretty... Okay, less prescriptive. Let's go to one who's an actual campaign, because you can usually just hop into Roll20 games that are just happening tonight pretty easily. I just want to play, dude. Let's go to a pay-to-play Lost Mine of Fandelver that we were looking at earlier on real quick. Does he have any current players? No, just a 1. And he's putting all his applications here as well. You're meant to pay $5 per session via PayPal for this guy. I like what he's done here, though. He set out player expectations for you, and he set out what he expects of you as well. 50% combat, 50% RP ratio. The game will require payment to the Games Master at a rate of $5 per session via PayPal. Why should I pay to play if I can play for free? Payment is a sort of insurance that separates those whom like to truly invest time into their character and world setting from those who frequently ditch their campaigns. Fair enough. He also uses it to buy the pro subscription and buy the module on Roll20. That seems pretty fair. Let's just quickly see what some of these applications are before we move on to our next section. Thanks, Evan Elf. Appreciate it. Glad you enjoyed. I'll see you soon. You downed like a fun person to play with. Would you mind if we had a short talk? Textually. Would you would you mind if we had a quick textual talk at any time or over voice tomorrow? Okay, who wants to talk about this? But okay, those applications seem like no one's really applied yet. So hey, if you want to pay for a game, you can find that listing in Lost Mine of Fandelver with player Luca V. There you go. So we're gonna go to our next one, onto the third section of this one. I use pay to play, except I use nudes as a currency. That is an interesting way of doing it.